At a time when somebody does.
There's Kate.
But it's supposed to snow this next week.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to. Because last week, you said it's close around. It's kind of worse.
Barb came back today. Barb was on Florida. Came back. Yeah. They went down. Yeah. Brandon and her, and they came back.
Did they drive?
No, they didn't. Oh,
Oh,
he had spent last night at the They came home today. Sweet home.
For a while now.
Hello, Leanne. Probably. There was Jim Ford. Yeah. On the clock from when.
Yeah, it's seems to have gotten stuck at 4:58.
So you gotta buy one? I said people.
Yeah, well, we'll get it going right at the appointed time.
There'd be more people than Zoom. Mike.
Oh, whatever. I think we're fine.
All right.
As far as, I think at the body heat, I think we're getting good. Body.
I mean, you want it off.
Oh, is it on? I can't hear it. Is it on?
Hear it.
Oh,
Is Lauren still ill?
it's on Zoom, yes. It's here by Zoom. I think she's not feeling bad, but, because I had a cold, yeah.
What do you know about Zoom? Oh, yeah, there she is, yeah. I still have a hard time trying to.
Okay. It is 5:00 PM. It's 5:00 PM on. It is Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. I will call this special town meeting for the town of La Pointe to order. First of all, if everyone hasn't yet signed in, please do sign in. And to those of you who are joining us by Zoom, welcome. You are also welcome to make public comment, but when we get to the actual vote at the special town meeting, only electors who are actually here in person in the room are eligible under state law to cast a vote. Tonight, we'll have three meetings, right? One after the other. The first one is what we're in right now, the special town meeting. And that the purpose of this is for the townspeople, the electors, you in the room, to authorize the town board to purchase for town public purposes, real property, and to take any and all action in conjunction with the Harbor Commission to acquire and operate the Madeline Island Ferry Line, including but not limited to purchasing, constructing, or leasing buildings or other assets and or entering into other agreements. Then we will have, and that's the only item on the agenda for that meeting. Following that, there will be a meeting, we're calling it a special town board meeting. We will be doing our regular town business that we would have done normally yesterday, which is the date of our normal town board meeting, but due to travel schedules and the fact that we were meeting tonight anyhow, we consolidated things onto that agenda. Of interest mostly to you, we're going to spend some time at the special town board meeting talking about the favorite topic, the rental ordinance. But then we are going to be authorizing the town Harbor Commission to execute agreements, 3 separate agreements to purchase the assets of the Madeline Island Ferry Line and enter into an operating agreement with them to run the ferry line for the Harbor Commission. And then following that meeting, and that there may be discussion in closed session or not. It really depends on what the members of the town board wish to do before taking action. But following that meeting will be a meeting of the Harbor Commission. And they will then consider authorizing one of their members to actually sign the agreements with Madeline Island Ferry Line. So with that introduction, I will open the floor to any public comment. Steve.
So it's been a long haul. And all of y'all, that's kind of Texan. All of you all that have been on that board have done a fabulous job. And, you know, if you weren't gonna do that, build the bridge, but we're not building the bridge. So what you guys did, all of you that were a part of it, thank you. Thank you for me and all the other people that are not here, but thank you, because you did hard work, a lot of hard work. And I, as a citizen of this community, truly appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, we have a resolution and I'm going to take a minute and read it. This is a big deal. This is Town of LaPointe Resolution 23-1227, resolution authorizing the purchase of land. Whereas the Harbor Commission of the Town of LaPointe is currently in final negotiations to purchase substantially all of the assets of Madeline Island Ferry Line. Whereas under section of the Wisconsin law, the Town of LaPointe requires a grant of authority from the electors for the town to purchase real estate within the town or to purchase, lease, or construct buildings for the use of the town. Whereas under section 6012 of Wisconsin statutes, a special town meeting to grant such authority may be convened by the board. And whereas the town board has determined that it would be advantageous to acquire the assets of the ferry and accordingly seeks authority from the electors to purchase certain of those assets within the town necessary to operate the ferry. Whereas the town board has convened a special town meeting on Wednesday, December 27th to request authorization from the town electors to purchase real estate required to operate the ferry and any and other authorities. And whereas the town clerk has properly posted and published notice of said town meeting as required by section 60.123 of the Wisconsin statutes. Now therefore the special town meeting of the Town of LaPointe, Ashland, Wisconsin by a majority vote of the eligible electors voting at the special town meeting assembled and voting resolves and orders as follows. The town board of the Town of LaPointe is hereby authorized to purchase for town public purposes the following real property specifically described as, I'm not going to read the parcel numbers, but 190 Colonel Woods Avenue, which we all know as Dockside. 239 Colonel Woods Avenue, which we know is the Freight Building. 687 Middle Road, which we know is the Middle Road property. The Board of LaPointe is hereby further authorized to take any and all action in conjunction with the Harbor Commission to acquire and operate the ferry, including but not limited to purchasing, constructing, or leasing buildings and or other assets and or entering into other agreements. This grant of authority shall be continuing and remain in effect until all such real property is purchased or until such authority is rescinded at a subsequent town meeting as provided by law. The town clerk shall properly post or publish this resolution as required under section 60.80 of the Wisconsin statutes within 30 days of the below noted adoption date. We will have discussion on the motion, but first I'm asking if there is a motion to approve. Mike?
Make a motion to approve, resolution 23-12-27 as submitted.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I just want to add my thanks to everyone. I think we all know that, this is a big thing for the town to undertake, and it's like anything like this, it's not without some risks, that I think we're aware of. The ferry line operates, in a business that sometimes people decide they don't want to come to the island. So, we are basing all of our, projections on our best information, but again, this is a projection. It's like a town budget. We can guarantee that it is not going to come out as projected. Hopefully, it won't be much worse than projected. It may be a little better than projected, but we've looked at this, we've hired experts, and so is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Someone counting? Okay, opposed? Abstaining? 2 abstentions. Notably the sellers. Well, congratulations. Thank you. The motion carries. And we will move forward. Is there a motion to adjourn the town meeting? We have a motion to adjourn the town meeting. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Now, I will call to order the Town of LaPointe Special Town Board meeting. And we have with us 3 members of the town board in person and 2 on Zoom. And so let me take roll call. Mike Anderson.
Here.
Amy Baxter.
Here.
Susan Brenna.
Here by Zoom.
Okay, Samantha Dobson.
Here by Zoom.
Glenn Carlson here. We're also joined by our town clerk, our town administrator, and our town treasurer, and members of the Harbor Commission, and members of the Town Plan Commission, but not a quorum. And let's see, am I forgetting anyone?
Public.
And other members of the public. Thank you. We don't have and this was strictly inadvertent, public comment on the agenda, but I'm going to exercise my chair's discretion and call for any public comment.
I'd like to do a public comment of kudos to the town crew for putting up that new playground down at Joni's Beach. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
Down and looked at it, so.
All started as a joke.
Yep, good job. Good job finding it too, at a cheap price.
Yeah, I found it on Wisconsin surplus, sent it to Ben as a joke, and he took it serious.
Nice.
Yes, kudos to everyone. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, moving on, we do have a number of items of normal business we're going to go through, but hopefully without too much time, we will get down to the Harbor Commission and us authorizing them to sign agreements. But the next item is airport. We have a lease renewal for Cedric Teisberg's industrial lot number 6. Is there a motion to approve the lease renewal?
I will make a motion to approve the lease agreement number 6 with Cedric Teisberg.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is under roads. First item is to hire a CDL temporary driver at $20 an hour, starting January 1st of 2024. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we hire Evan Erickson as a temporary CDL driver at $20 an hour from January 1st to December 31st, 2024, not to exceed 60 hours.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're also proposing to hire 3 non-CDL temporary drivers at $18 an hour, starting January 1st, 2024 as well. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we hire Gary Beeksma, Karen Thomas, Paul Wilharm as temporary non-CDL drivers at $18 an hour. From
I'll
January
second.
1st to December 31st, 2024, not to exceed 240 hours.
I'll
Who
second.
seconded?
Oh, yeah, no, Sue definitely got her second in first. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a resolution. And this is, I guess will be 1227B maybe. Amendment to resolution 2023-0725A regarding private roads. We need to actually denote the Cherry Lane off of Miller Farm is a private dead-end road running south off Miller Farm Road. We need to do this primarily for fire numbers and for the county to acknowledge that they do have fire numbers. They need to have the town actually approve that it's called what it is.
I will make a motion to designate Sherry Lane to the officially designated list of names for private roads.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item, parks. Hire Camp Host 1 at $18 an hour. Is there a motion?
We don't need any hours or anything on this one. Not to exceed hours.
Yeah, not to.
I'll make a motion, we hire Camp Host 1 at $18 an hour starting January 1st. Oh. Rand Moore as Camp Host 1. Not to exceed 1,000 hours.
For a second,
I'll second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item under committees, planning and zoning, rental ordinance. I prepared a memo to, or I guess a memo to the town board with an outline. That's the result of numerous discussions that I've had with a number of different stakeholders in this issue. And believe that we've come up with something that, believe it or not, everyone seems to agree with. And so what I'd like to ask is if the town board has comments on anything, questions on anything, this would be a great time to bring those up. The plan would be after we can come up with our consensus that we would delegate to the town administrator and the zoning administrator responsibility for actually drafting ordinance language. After which we would have a public meeting where everyone would have had an opportunity to read the ordinance language and have any comments at the public meeting, with hopefully the town board adopting a final resolution, a final ordinance by our second meeting in January, which I believe is the 30th. So that the town zoning administrator can get
23rd. Third.
the 23rd.
Yeah.
The 23rd, you're right. That we have another, that we have time to get these renewal letters out to the renters, the people that are renting their place. There were a couple of additions that I wanted to make to that based on some later conversations. So we have basically all short-term rental permit holders are gonna have to, and that's fewer than 30 days. One of the big things, two of the big things is they're gonna have to, on all their public marketing, have their permit number so that we can cross-reference with that they have a permit, and also have an agent available to respond to health and safety issues at the property within 1 hour. As well, they have to comply with the driveway ordinance. And then for rentals of fewer than 7 days outside the commercial zone, it would really depend on whether or not the permit is in existence as of now, or whether it's going to be a new permit. And if it's a permit in existence as now, it would just continue under the rules that exist today. They could rent it out for as short as 1 day if they wanted to. But that grandfathering will expire at the end of when the property is sold or transferred. But after 12/31, the town board will set a cap as to the number of permits to be issued altogether. And again, we'll look at that every year. Initially, we're looking at doing a 10% increase from where we think we currently are. So we'd have a cap. Right now, we think we've got about 112 current permits outside the commercial zone. So we're not proposing any changes inside the commercial zone. It would just be outside the commercial zone in the residential zones. We cap that at 125. Town board will look at that every year. Those new ones will have to have a 2-night minimum rental. After 12/31, any newly issued for a high occupancy, which is more than 12 adults, they're going to have to notify their neighbors to get a permit. Neighbors are going to have an opportunity to object on certain bases, particularly if it's a shared unpaved driveway or shared road with other people who object. And for those after 12/31, it seems there's an agreement that we would ask for a minimum 3-night rental. There had been talk about 4-night or 5-night, but 3 nights, I think, where things are settling. No cap on the number of properties someone can own. Now, there will be an exception to that cap of 125 or whatever the future number is, and that's if a dwelling's been owned by the applicant continuously since the end of this year, they are eligible to receive a permit even if the cap has been reached. Initially, we didn't, in the outline, establish a number or a cap on that number. So it was unlimited number of permits that could go above that cap. After further discussions, we think it's reasonable to set a cap of 25 for those, the number of those exceptional permits. We may also put in or suggest a sunset to this of perhaps we keep this grandfathering in for 5 to 10 years and not have this be something that we have to keep track of for, another 100 years. That's, maybe a bit much to ask. And 30-day grace period. Events as going to be per the TPC's proposal, which was limiting where you can have events. And we are noting that under a new state law will significantly curtail the ability to rent out a property on a regular basis for use as an event venue at which alcohol is served. And so, and that takes effect after 2025. So until then, we're proposing just stick with what the TPC proposed, and then let the state law pretty much govern after that. Are there any questions or comments on?
This is the first read for us, right?
Oh, very much. And we're not going to even vote on this tonight, I don't think, unless you want to. I really, this is because there's really nothing per se to vote on. You know, you see an outline. So the question is there a consensus among the town board to ask the town administrator and the zoning administrator to draft language consistent with this outline in ordinance form for us to present to the public in the next couple of weeks or so?
Well, just so we know, this is all complaint driven. This is all, like Ed's not here tonight, but this is based on complaint driven, right? If the neighbors don't like what the other neighbors are doing,
The events part.
the event part, that you were talking about the roads.
Well, you know, I mean,
Sure.
like excessive noise. You know, we don't have drones out there monitoring noise all over the island. So, you know, that's going to be.
I guess my point is, it's not the zoning administrator's job to go out and enforce these, it's complaint driven. Somebody files a complaint and then he checks it out and determines whether or not the permit is.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the health department is going to, you know, they look at these properties. And I believe they have to get a permit, Michael.
So the actual checking will not change. If you're talking about events, Mike, obviously someone needs a permit to have an event. If an event takes place and we receive complaints about it from neighbors or passersby or whoever, or the police notice it, you know, that will be followed up as required. Police will be aware of who has permits and who does not on any given day or weekend or whatever the case may be. So, yes, it's complaint driven, but like anything in the zoning ordinance, we can enforce what we observe on our own, whether it's a town official, whether it's police department, that kind of thing. But as most zoning is, you know, we can't be everywhere all the time, so we
Right.
depend on residents to bring to our attention anything that they believe is a violation of any zone.
But I agree, except for the complaint is after the fact. If somebody has an event,
Not necessarily. I
Wow.
mean, we receive complaints of noise or congestion or other things that can be investigated, you know, on a timely basis, especially on a weekend when we have people available to do that.
and then my third thing would be, I looked through the old rental agreement and the new, or the newest one, and the definitions, there's definitions in here that aren't in the old, so we'd have to work that out too.
When we talk about grandfathering, what we're, you know,
Oh, yeah. Lots of new language.
Yeah.
Would be required.
Right.
any comments from our town board members on Zoom?
No.
Go ahead, Amy.
I don't understand how this cap could be a problem and get to 25 people. If you're saying that 25 people wanted to rent a new house before people renewed their existing rental permits?
Yeah, it's a little, so we're gonna have propose a cap of, you know, if you want to rent your house, okay, you need to get a permit. And right now we have 112 people, 112 dwellings that have permits.
Outside the commercial.
Outside the commercial zone. Thank you, Michael. And what we're suggesting is that we set a limit of the number of permits outside the commercial zone to 125.
Right,
Okay, now we'll have an exception. So when we hit that number, no more permits, okay? No more new permits, unless you actually owned the dwelling as of the end of this year without, you didn't have a permit. but
oh, you
just
weren't
said-
renting it out before, but
Correct.
now you want to rent it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we're saying of those, right, we think it is prudent to put a limit on the number of those, let's call them conversions that can happen. Because it's all.
I understand now. I just
Okay.
thought you meant permitted people
Ah,
that didn't get their renewal in time. I'm like, there won't be 25 of us. Got it now.
okay. So that's the idea with that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, is there a consensus to ask Michael and Ed to come up with ordinance language that, a lot of it has already been written. Thank you to, especially to Paul Wilharm and to Jim Peters, for their extraordinary efforts to make this whole ordinance a lot more rational and simpler, and not as many pages. So thank you for that. So we will be using a great majority of what has already been done. So is there a consensus?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. And I would also actually like to thank the other folks I spoke to, who are both neighbors of people who have rental units, and as well as people who are agents for people who rent out their units. So thank you to everyone who was involved. Next, moving on, Town Hall Administration contract renewal with our computer technology firm, YWS Technology.
I will make a motion to enter into the contract for the service of from YWS Technology LLC presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on update on our interviews for town treasurer. Susan?
So,
Carol? Susan?
so we have interviewed 2 for that position already, and 1 is scheduled for tomorrow for an interview.
Thank you. Moving on, budget summary report. You all should have gotten that. Are there any questions on that?
I will make a motion to approve the budget summary report as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Next item is vouchers.
I will make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $16,502.87.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And we have an abstention. Okay. Motion carries. Next is alternative claims.
I will make a motion to approve the alternative claims in the amount of $260,614.99.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item, minutes for the regular town board meeting of December 12th.
I make a motion, we approve the regular town board meeting minutes for December 12th, 2023.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item under fire, contract renewal for big water fire apparatus for next year. We've used them obviously for many years.
I will make a motion to approve the Big Water Apparatus LLC through the renewal contract as presented. to the fire department.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Sign.
Next item is Harbor Commission, and this is up to the town board if you want to go into closed session to discuss, but I will say, you know, we are being asked to sign these 3 agreements. There have been some little technical issues, some clarifications that are going to be needed. But everyone on both sides is willing to work with each other to make sure that these reflect the intent of the parties. So, you know, if there are ambiguities, I trust that they'll be cleared up. And the other is to authorize the Harbor Commission to withdraw up to $400,000 from the town. And I think it's worth pointing out that that is not the extent of the town's investment in this venture. That, you know, we are also foregoing some dock improvement payments that we had with the ferry line, as well as some dock lease payments in some outer years. The town, I think, altogether is probably making an investment of, and then the big investment is this $400,000, which comes from the terminal payment on the cell tower, on the old cell tower. We got $500,000 from the transmission company to basically give them a 99-year lease. And our intent when we put that money aside was to invest it in something that was going to replace the income lost essentially from not getting those annual lease payments. Personally, I can't think of a better investment for the town to make with that money than to invest it in the purchase of the ferry line in perpetuity, which is our lifeline. And so, so we are making probably altogether at least a $750,000 investment, you know, at the get-go in this with money that we've already put aside. Our hope is that it's not going to add anything to the tax levy. That can't be a guarantee. You know, the study that we've seen done by the professionals that the Harbor Commission hired reflect not a worst case scenario nor a best case scenario. It's the expected scenario, and if things go as expected, we won't need to have a tax levy. But again, that's our hope, that's our plan. It's not a guarantee. Obviously, you know, if things don't go as planned, we do not want to take it out of other services that town provides to residents. And so it would be going to the property owners, to the electors for a potential levy increase. Again, we're not expecting that, but it's a very real possibility. So with all that, would the town board care to go into closed session?
I don't see that there's a necessary need, at least not for me.
I don't need to.
Okay.
You need.
Okay. All right. Then I will ask if there is a motion to authorize the Harbor Commission to sign the vessel, the real estate, and the operating agreement.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Harbor Commission to sign the 3 agreements: vessel, real estate, and operation. And also authorize the Harbor Commission to withdraw up to $4,000 for working capital.
About 400,000.
400,000. Is that not what I said?
You said 4,000.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have a motion combining those two items. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded by Sam. Okay. Any further discussion? Is there anything the Harbor Commission would like to say?
Thank you for your support, for the rating commission, for funding it when we didn't have an idea of where we need to secure money. We appreciate the support of the board.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We don't have this on the agenda, but we do typically, before we adjourn, ask for any additional public comment. Does anyone have any additional public comment?
You have a celebration.
That's gonna be when Carol says. She still is, I think, getting people to sign, commitment letters and things like that, so.
Should at least have a christening.
You know, I think someone will come up with a bottle of champagne or something at some point. And whether we use it to crash against a ship or not, I think we don't want to waste it. No, that too. That's too. Okay, so is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Where there is no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. I think we need to get out of here so the harbor, so we're gonna stay here or are we gonna go to a new? Should we just?
Exit this and go to the Harbor Commission Zoom link.
Okay, so anyone on the, on Zoom who wishes to participate or watch the Harbor Commission meeting, they are going to be on that separate Zoom link. And yeah, that's for the Harbor Commission meeting. So we're gonna sign off on this meeting and then they're going to reconvene on that other Harbor Commission link where, yeah, we'll give them about 2 minutes.
I'll start it for you.